What's going on, everyone? Elite Sports back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the New York Giants. I'm going to be answering the question: have the New York Giants been solved? Because that's that's a topic that a lot of people are talking about these days. A lot of people are questioning whether the New York Giants are a legitimate 7-4 team and whether or not they're done and they've hit that mark where they're just going to go completely downhill. And the short answer to this question is no. I do not think that the Giants have been solved. I think that, they just had a couple of tough weeks. Of course, no one expected us to beat the Dallas Cowboys, if you're being honest with yourself. You didn't expect us to win that football game. I don't think even any of you even thought that the Giants would have the lead at halftime. I don't think anyone thought that. And I think overall the Giants have been great. I think the game against the Lions, that was a bad game. That was a bad game, and the game against the Cowboys was just a better team beat us. That's all that it was. And now the Giants have some big games on the schedule, of course, with the Washington Commanders as they're coming in. And I didn't make a post-game video on that Thanksgiving game just because I kind of just wanted to soak it in, and I didn't really want to empty out my thoughts. There's not much. I mean, the better team won there, but that's that. Moving forward, though, the Giants have the Commanders, the Eagles, and the Commanders. Those are the next 3 games. These are huge games, as there's only 6 remaining on the schedule. And the Giants are going to need to beat Washington, especially at home. They're going to at least need to split against Washington. And if you're asking yourself which game is going to be easier to win, obviously the one at home, when we have, longer rest and more time to prepare for them. Because that second game is Washington coming off a bye. So their next 2 games are the Giants and the Giants, right? So if the Giants want to split with Washington, they're going to have to at least win this game on Sunday. But it's a huge game. And as Brian Daboll said, this is where the season starts. And we're just fine at 7-4, right? That's a good spot to be in. I think we're going to beat Washington, and I think we're going to make the playoffs. And, once you make the playoffs, you see what happens from there. But it's one game at a time from here. The injuries have really been tough, but we got to get our guys back and healthy. The last 2 games, yes, they've been tough, but injuries have been a huge factor. We're going to get these injured guys back slowly for the end of the season in time for the playoffs. This week, we're going to get a few big guys back. It sounds like Evan Neal, Azeez Ojulari, and maybe Daniel Bellinger. These are 3 starters, big-time key starters. They're big. And we're going to get these guys who are hurt right now, we're going to slowly start to get them back week by week. Like I said, for the end of the season and in time for the playoffs, that's going to be key. For all the people that are saying Kayvon Thibodeaux is a bust, I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeaux is tremendous. I think he's a really special player. And, a lot of people look at the stats and they say, oh, well, he doesn't have a sack. He doesn't have a sack. He doesn't have a sack. Well, watch the game and look at what he does within the game. I mean, the amount of times he was pressuring Dak Prescott on Thursday was unbelievable. He was in his face every play. He gets held almost every play. There is no call. Kayvon Thibodeaux is not a bust. He is a special player. And once he has an offseason to really learn how to kind of sell off on these calls and do all these things, he's going to be really, really good. And once he starts to get a couple sacks here and there, it's just going to open up the floodgates, for him to be an amazing player, really. He's going to start to be a guy who gets 10, 12 sacks a year. I have no question about it, maybe even more. So I'm not worried about Kayvon Thibodeaux. He is not a bust. He is actually very good. Saquon Barkley is not shit. I hear everyone saying Barkley sucks, get him out of here. He had 2 bad weeks. after a game in which he had 35 carries. So that obviously took a toll on him for that Lions game. And you factor in that he had no offensive line. Evan Neal is out. Of course, the left guard position sucks, and he has nowhere to run except for left tackle with Andrew Thomas, where Andrew Thomas is. And Saquon Barkley, this is a big week for him because he's getting more time to rest. So I think he's going to come out and really shine, as is Daniel Jones against the Commanders. As you take a look at history for these two guys, and really when the games that they really pop off, they're against the Washington Commanders. So Saquon Barkley is fine. He's going to be back to the Saquon we saw at the beginning of the year. It's just 2 tough weeks for Saquon. It's a little bump in the road. And then Andrew Thomas. Everyone's saying, we're seeing rookie Andrew Thomas after the 2 sacks against Micah Parsons, in which at that point the game was already over when he gave up those 2 sacks. He was not 100%, and it's Micah Parsons. You got to tip your cap to the opponent sometimes. Andrew Thomas is still one of the top tackles in the league, a top 3 tackle in the league by far. So I'm not worried about Andrew Thomas. He had a little, bump, and he didn't really practice all week because of an illness. He was not 100%. He was wearing a mask around the building, even after the game, and days after. So, I'm not worried about Andrew Thomas. He's going to be fine. He's going to put everyone in their place and really show against a really good D-line and front 7 of the Washington Commanders. He's going to put them in their place, and he's going to show who he is. I have no question about that. Then Xavier McKinney, he is what he is. Everyone's saying, McKinney's an idiot. He's not an idiot. He just made a bad decision, and sometimes that happens. You take a look at anyone. You're not going to be perfect. He made a bad decision. It's costing him some time out, and he's going to be back. And when he gets back, everyone's going to just forget about what happened because you'll come back to 110%, and he's going to be back to the Pro Bowl Xavier McKinney that we all know. So I'm not worried about McKinney. And then the last thing I want to touch on is the coaching staff. I don't know how fans could switch up so fast and say that the Giants coaching staff is overrated. Daboll, Wink, and Kafka, they're overrated. The whole staff here with the Giants is very good. It's very good. It is above average. Every single coach on this Giants team is very good. Now, is Kafka showing a little bit of inexperience in play calling? Yes, because he's a rookie play caller. It's not going to be perfect, and you hope that Kafka learns. You hope that Daboll teaches him a thing or two, and I think he will. I think Kafka's going to be fine. He's going to be very good. He is a good play caller. It's just a little couple calls here and there where Giants fans don't like his play calling, and then they say he's a bad offensive coordinator and a bad coach. That's not how it is. That's not how I see it. I think Kafka's good, and I think he's going to continue to be good. And then for Wink, people are upset when he blitzes. That's the style of coach he is, and that's the scheme he runs. We knew that coming in, and I really like Wink. I really like this entire coaching staff. Daboll, everyone's saying he's bad. He's not coach of the year anymore. I think he's still coach of the year. Just because he put Adoree Jackson back there to field punts doesn't mean he's a bad coach. It's a decision he made that us as fans we don't agree with, but that doesn't mean he's a bad coach. I really love this entire coaching staff, even beyond these 3. When you look at the talent that's on this team, and what these guys are able to get out of the players, it just shows you how good this coaching staff really is. I love this entire coaching staff, even beyond Daboll, Wink, and Kafka. So, the staff's not overrated. If anything, it's underrated. I think we don't get talked about enough in the media. So, the coaching staff's great. I love them, and I hope that we're able to keep them for next year. I think we will. I think we'll be able to keep this coaching staff intact. So I really like the coaching staff. Like I said, I think they're going to be back next year, and I hope so because they're doing a really good job, and I hope we're able to keep these guys here for as long as possible. But looking in the big picture, it's not time to panic for the Giants. We're 7-4. We're just fine. We're in a good spot. We control our own destiny. If we can win, 2 or 3 games and, win this one against Washington, we really control our own destiny. If you take a look at what happens if we win this game, we're 8-4. Washington drops to 7-6, and we have the tiebreaker. So Seattle's also they also lost, so that's big. The Giants are going to be just fine. We're going to make the playoffs, in my opinion, and from there we're going to see what happens. Like I said, take one game at a time, next man up mentality. We're going to slowly start to get our guys back, and all our playmakers, they're all going to prove everybody who they are, and they're going to make everyone eat their words and saying they're a bust and they suck. It's going to happen, Giants fans. I'm not panicking. I'm not worried. Giants are just fine. We're going to move to 8-4 on Sunday. And that's really all I got in this video. The Giants have not been solved, but you guys let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on the New York Giants. Have they been solved? I don't think they have been. I don't think this coaching staff's overrated. I love the coaching staff. I love every part of this team. I really do. And you guys let me know all that good stuff down in the comment section. As always, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We'll see you guys on the next video, and as always, let's go Giants.